Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, hi, I'm Sydney. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a fashion chat on sustainable fashion. It's been seen a lot recently, especially with the fashion weeks wrapping up. There's been some coverage in the UK about more sustainable fashion. I think it was BBC World did a take or a panel talking about sustainable fashion, and one of my favorite UK YouTubers, Victoria from In the Fro, was part of that and has also sat down and talked about sustainable fashion. So I've seen a lot of influencers online starting to talk about sustainable fashion, and I want to kind of give my take and share my story about it. I think it's a real coincidence that it's kind of popped up when it has, as I've just wrapped up teaching sustainability to my grade 8s in terms of geography and working on becoming more sustainable in our environment. So my kids kind of took it to the recycling front and are helping to make recycling easier at my school. We talked about sustainability and what we can do to have better cities. So I just thought it was such a coincidence that this whole sustainable fashion conversation has kind of popped up again and has a lot more force kind of behind it this time. So for some, a lot of people don't actually want to call it sustainable fashion because fashion in and of itself, it cannot be sustainable. Even with you just washing your clothes, it's not environmentally friendly. It's a lot of water. The detergents, unless you use a green detergent, have chemicals in them. So a lot of people want to do it more sustainably. That's kind of the stance I'm taking. So there's also the idea of fast fashion, so cheap things like Forever 21, for example. And they're not the only guilty party by any means, but some of us can't necessarily go out and spend all of our paycheck on more eco-friendly fabrics and more sustainable fashions and brands. So I think the keynote for me and what I'm going to be taking away from this whole movement of sustainable fashion is keeping within my own wardrobe. So there are many terms and there are many categories of sustainability when it comes to fashion, whether it's green or organic, vegan, whether it's upcycling clothing, using recycled pieces, or even just clothing swaps. So I think for me, a lot of the time it comes down to clothing swaps. More so me taking clothes and swapping them because I am a clothing hoarder. But one of the easiest ways is to do a clothing swap with friends, to donate your clothes. I think it's personally a little bit better to hand it off to somebody that you know personally or physically meet, that they'll get the best use out of the clothing. But donating is awesome too because somebody will eventually get it. So swapping clothes with other people. I get clothes, and it also allows me to kind of go through my closet and decide what I want to donate, what I need to keep, and what I'm kind of on the fence with. So for my take on sustainable fashion, I'm going to be working more within my closet, making more of my clothes work. Now I want to do a lot more fashion content on my channel, and one of the things that was kind of held me back is the fact that I don't shop a lot. I cannot do these, you know, $300 at Primark, $500 at Clothes Envy, Fashion Nova haul. I can't do that content. It's just not something that I can do. So sometimes I feel like me doing lookbooks isn't always the most helpful because I can't tag the brands anymore because I've owned the clothes for so long. I personally have just learned to take care of my clothing, you know, actually reading the labels. I always use cold, I always do low temperature in the dryer, or if it needs to lay flat to dry or hang flat to dry, I do that. And by taking care of your clothing, you ensure that it's going to last longer. I have pieces from Forever 21 that are several years old. Several, like bordering almost on 10 years old, which for some people may be mind-blowing. So just because it's a fast fashion store that does a lot of turnaround for trendy items and even basics that are only $3, $4, $5 a piece, I'm not saying you have to go out and buy all those things. I have people like Boston who has terrible experience with Forever 21, and I've never had a problem, really. So as long as you take care of your clothes, you can make them last. So I am going to film more fashion content regardless of whether the fact that you can go out and buy the exact item that I have. I'm doing it for the inspiration. You can go out and find it wherever, but definitely look in your closet first. I know when it comes to trends, some things you just really want to have, even though you know it's probably going to last a season, maybe it'll last a couple if you're lucky. But go through your closet first. You might be surprised. There's so many trends that keep coming back or come back in slight different variations, like animal print. I have animal print boots I've had for years. I have animal print. There are scarf prints. I have scarves. I have things that I've got from my grandmother. I have things that I've had since I was a kid. I have a pair of pants that were purchased from Guess when I was 13 years old for New Year's Eve. I'm turning 28 in July. And they look great. So I make my kids laugh all the time when I say this clothing item is older than you are. And they're like, what? Because they're so used to this consumption. So definitely look through your closet to see if you have stuff that falls into the trends. Try to utilize what you have already before going out. Sometimes you surprise yourself, you go out, you're all wrapped up in buying things online, and you're like, oh, I actually have something similar to this. Another take on sustainability is to have a minimalist closet. So having fewer pieces and wearing them for a lot longer. I had this dream that I was going to try and do a minimalist clothing or a seasonal, was a phrase, I can't think what it's called. Anyways, I was going to try and narrow things down. there is no hope. There's no hope for me ever doing that. I just love clothes. I have so many of them, and I blame working in retail. Okay, if you worked in retail, then it's inevitable that you collect something. So I'm going to be still purging through my closet and still getting rid of pieces, Marie Kondoing my closet and deciding that I don't really need some pieces, but I definitely want to find ways to maximize what I do have so it minimizes what I have to purchase. Both so that I can afford to like live and travel and also just to encourage other people to look through their closet first and use what you have available and don't feel like you always have to go out and buy new things. There are tons of things that I want, but when I go into the store and I look at them and I feel the fabric and I look at the price, I kind of go, is this worth it? Is it going to last? Am I still gonna like this in, next spring and next summer when I want to wear it again? I still have clothing in my closet that I know I haven't reached for, but I keep telling myself, okay, let me try to style it. Let me think about ways I can wear it. And if that doesn't happen this year, it's going in the bin and it's going to get donated. I've literally donated 2 or 3 bags full of clothes in the last 6 months, especially leading up to my move last summer. So it never ends, but I'm trying to do more of a one item in, one item out type of idea. Better if I can get more out than what I'm putting in. So I'm limiting my shopping. I do not go shopping very often, which is kind of why when I do have a haul, it means that I've gone out and I've splurged a lot at that one moment. And then probably felt really guilty about it later. So that is some of my thoughts on sustainable fashion. Let me know if this is something that interests you, if it's something that you're going to try and do. I will leave some links below to some of the posts that I've been reading recently about brands that are more sustainable or ways that people can approach sustainable fashion just so that you can be more educated, because I'm definitely not by any means an expert. It's only really come to mind in the last couple of months for me. So that's my take on it, and I'll see you guys in my next video. See ya!